Alright boys, here we go. Mideast round 13, Chestnut Corner in Lawrence, South Carolina. It's dusty, and you know how I do in dust. It's just, this race was not good for me. I come into the hole shot area about 6th into the woods, and I make a way up through and get to about 4th, but I have a big off near the end of the first lap, and it's just bad for me for the rest of the race. Robert Johnson's always there for the hype. This little sand pit thing was cool. I guess it's gravel, I don't know, but it was still cool and fun to ride through. I just left it in there because it was an interesting feature. You can see how dusty it is. It's open fields, but not as much as like the bearpin track, but like everything else, if you see it on a GoPro and it looks bad, it's 10 times worse in person. It was zero visibility in some areas, and then one of those kind of, you just react when you see your obstacle kind of visibility issues in the open sections. The woods weren't that bad, and there was some clear cut, but there was a lot of this just open, fast, double track woods. I was told by somebody, another racer, that this all looked like a GNCC course, which I've never run a GNCC course, but if this is what they're like, I can see why people like them. They don't cater to my style, but really what needs to happen is my style needs to change, but that's just my problem to deal with. The first lap of the race I felt pretty good. It was, moon dust, and then you drop into a creek, or there was these weird rock sections that like this, and where we were you wouldn't expect there to be these large boulders, but there were sections where you had to traverse a couple either slabs or some sections of rock, and it was oddly placed. Like this section always caused problems because there was this slab that everybody was trying to go around, and then the hill turn into it was just moon dust. The moon dust thing I can get around. It's like riding in sand. That's not a problem for me. The problem for me at this course was the big off I had. I had to ride the rest of the race with only my front brake. And in this kind of conditions, it was doable. I just was not going to do anything impressive with that kind of handicap. You can see here again, this is in the woods, and this is a section where it's just nothing. You can't see anything. You just better hope you can react fast enough to not, overshoot a turn or you slam into a tree or something. This section had a little bit of moisture in it. It wasn't impressive by any means. I mean, it wasn't like the most interesting section, of course, but it was the best traction, I feel like, for the whole course. Didn't feel like you were sliding all over the place. You just felt like you could really move. And I've been working on my passing like I've been talking about so much, and I finally get some good passes, good clean passes where I've made good decisions. My thing is, like, I'm always trying to find a way to improve the way I'm riding. I need to stand up, which I've been making improvements on, but it's hard for me to learn how to do it all the time. Really riding my mountain bike's what's helping me the most with that, because though I stand up a lot riding my mountain bike, so it makes it so in these sections I can treat it just like I would my mountain bike. This little creek section here was real odd. There's a sign up on this tree that says jump, and I don't know what they meant, if you could just jump off it into this rock face where the guy on my right goes. I tried to skirt around a bunch of people and ended up sliding off into the water. Recluse saved me there, my bike didn't die. I didn't make up any time. I actually lost time because I had passed Clint Edens, who just got in front of me just a little bit before, and lost it dropping my bike in the creek. Saw a lot of carnage in this race. I guess either people trying to push too hard, or I don't know, maybe some of these weird little rocks and root sections really got people. I heard of 3 people that had to be taken to the hospital or ambulanced out because of injuries they sustained while riding. Out into the fields again. These sections, I don't know where to go practice this. I need to go practice just, riding in a no berm, flat track field course. And I don't know how to do it, especially with all the dust, and people tell me, oh, nobody rides well in dust, but there are some guys I ride with who prefer it, and they do well in it. Robert Johnson's been killing it in the B class because he can perform well in dust and stuff like that. In the last couple of races, he's just been hammering through. I really just kind of park it here. I don't know how to go fast in this, and I don't know if it's just me just needing to, you know, suck it up and go, or if it's one of those things where it's I need to go out and train for it. You know, not every race is going to have everything that caters to your riding talents, and I just need to get over talking about how, oh, it was just a field course. It doesn't matter. I should be able to ride it anyway. This was weird. I didn't notice it while we were riding, but there was a lot of, it was mud over rock, and I was wondering why I couldn't get any traction. You see me shake my head there. I was wondering why I couldn't get any traction. It's because you're going up a slick rock hill, and I'm on a worn out AT81 motocross tire, and it's repeating itself over and over again. You drop into the woods, you're out in the fields, you get a couple creeks, nothing super tight. Not a bad course by any means. I don't want it to sound like that. Not my favorite, but it wasn't a bad course to ride. It was just a course. And no, I mean, besides the moon dust, it could have used some moisture, but the layout was fine, the track was fun. And it was just a high-speed course, which is something else I need to work on. I don't ride this bike as fast as I feel like I rode my 300, even though I've been performing better on it. So I need to work on it. I need to work on becoming more comfortable riding this bike fast. You can see here, and I blame this on the dust, but it's also me not being able to read the trail. Come through this turn, you can see where the track goes. I just blow it wide, and then I'm looking for the way around. I left this section in because there were two lines here. There was this outside line that I take here, and then there was another line where you can cut in behind the kid on the four-wheeler and then shoot up this uphill. I should have done this hill every time. It wasn't hard. It was so much faster than the workaround. I just hadn't been paying attention, and it was I missed it except for one lap where that's where I took it. Another person that does really well in these open tracks is this guy. This is Robert Creel. He excels, it seems like, in the wide open stuff. He just pins it and holds on. And I'm just, like I said, I'm not good at it, but he really shines for him. And he rides well in dust, and it seems low visibility stuff, which I like I've said before, I just can't figure out. I don't know what happened there. I've got this issue where my skid plate and my rear brake kind of interact with each other, and so I think I was pressing on my rear brake and ended up actually pressing on part of my skid plate, and I slid out of that corner and then I ended up losing Robert. This is one of those weird, rock hill sections, and it says jump again, and I think they meant you just jump off the little ledge, and it was nothing to be really concerned about. You just kind of roll through the V. There was a line to the right that kind of dropped off into a little gully, and I kind of wish I had taken that line the whole time, but you live and learn. You see it after the race kind of situations. And another one of these sections where I'm relying too much on the rider in front of me to show me where I need to go, and that was resulting in me blowing a corner where I could have actually gotten by and made a pass a little sooner. I like these little kudzu tunnels. They're kind of fun to ride through. This is all first lap. This is my cleanest lap, and you can see how bad it was. It only gets worse as the day goes on, as it gets drier. When we got to the track, it was actually kind of foggy and overcast, which I was hoping that it would stay like that for a little while because the fog was keeping the dust down. But right as we took off, the sun breaks through the clouds kind of thing. It's going to just dry out and turn into this zero visibility race. I see Robert Creel in front of me and I'm trying to catch up again. This is a little section where I can usually make up time and catch up, but then I come off this little booter sideways and just slam into this tree. I'm not hurt, it just is one of those, you know, assess the damage kind of situations, and I yank my bike back up and try and take off again. I try to pick the pace back up, and I'm going to come into this turn. I want to slide into this next turn, but I look down in there, I've got no rear brake. Rear brake pedal completely snapped in half. It was gone. I had nothing left. I thought it was just bent. You see when I come up through scoring in a little bit here that it's just destroyed. And so I have to run the rest of the race with no rear brake. So this is, you know, like riding in sand. If you've ever ridden in sand, or even just this kind of moon dust situation, riding in this kind of stuff with no berms to speak of and nothing really to push your bike into, or like coming down a long descent, it's all this like really soft soil. You're just going to tuck the front end, and I was fighting that for the rest of the ride, for the rest of my race. I actually ended up not finishing the race. I did 3 laps and pulled off and was like, I can't. I ended up crashing real bad, hurt my knee. I was like, I can't, I'm going to kill myself doing this just to, you know, make it to the end of this race. It was disappointing not to finish. I don't like not finishing races. I don't try to just pull off whenever I can and just find some excuse, but this is one of those situations where it felt like it made more sense for me to get off the track than it did to try and, you know, complete a 4th lap. This is into 1st. I come into the scoring area in 4th. It was the best position I had held all the race. You can see I look down and look at my rear brake, and it's totally gone. There's nothing left. Like I said, it didn't finish. I ended up, I think, 11th out of 14 or 15. Kind of disappointing in my performance, but you live and learn. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.